going to talk a little bit about how you can improve your sweep picking a lot. And I love sweep picking, and these specific things I'm going to share with you are going to help you sweep pick if you implement them. And the last one's killer, so make sure that you stay till the end. The first one I'm going to give you that I think is pretty interesting is, and it's like super easy to do, is just use a fret wrap. Okay, so like I'll show you here in the video. I used to not ever use these, and it makes a world of a difference. And this is literally a hair tie that I got from my daughter. I've only been using these now for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks, if even that. And it literally has hair on it. And this one is kind of like a thicker one, like that, you know, kind of spreads out. It's not one of those like circular ones. Here, I'll try to show you on the video. It's kind of, yeah, I don't know how good you can see that, but like, you see how it's kind of like wide there? These you can actually get around the neck. And like I noticed if I tried to use like one of the regular common hair ties that, again, I see people wearing all the time, it doesn't really fit around the headstock depending on the headstock. And so like you may not even be able to get it on. And I just don't think it has good a surface area. So these are better. But also you can buy fret wraps. I am planning on buying one because I just was like, yeah, I'm going to test out with one of these cheap hair ties. And I did it, and I just really like it. So I think I'm actually going to try like the professional way to do it and get them for like 10 to 20-ish bucks. And seems like they'll probably help out a whole lot. So use a fret wrap of some sort, whether it's a hair tie or whatever. It'll make a world of a difference because like it just mutes a lot of the extra stuff. So like, you know, I still get quite a bit of background stuff. So like this hair tie is not great, which is why I want to look at using an actual fret wrap. But it really does cut down on a lot of the noise that can pop up whenever you're doing like your sweep picking type stuff. So that's gonna be my first tip for you. The next one that I'm gonna give you is a little bit counterintuitive, and that is using some reverb and delay. Now, you'd think like, oh, if I add in reverb and delay, I'm gonna have like more noise, and then maybe it's gonna sound worse. But believe it or not, it can actually help a whole lot. So, you know, if you're interested in me going more into detail on like how should you use your reverb, how should you use your delay, the comment below, let me know. And I can look at making one of those videos for you. But for now, like the general advice is just play around with some delay. I think right now on this, I have like a multi-delay. And so like, I don't know if you can hear it really well, but it's got some like weird syncopation to it. And I keep it pretty fast. I think I'm set at, let me see, I'll look it up and tell you real quick what I'm set at. It is set at 1,000 milliseconds. So yeah, so again, I'd be happy to go more in depth on that. Just comment below and I can work on that for you if you're interested. The next tip I have for you though is going to be making sure that you use the neck pickup. So like you totally can use the bridge. And there's certain things that it will sound better with the bridge tonally wise if there's a part you're going for that you want more of that scratchier sound. But generally speaking, if I'm sweep picking, I'm in very much the bridge. Maybe like the second selector knob at most. So, you know, get that on video for you. So you see, I'm like typically right there. Might go there just depending on the sound that I want. Just kind of depends, but you're going to be way better off at the neck than you are at the bridge. It just helps it with sounding more buttery smooth. The next tip I'm going to have for you is to pick the sweeping shape that works best for you. Not that you can't get good at all of them. Like that's one of the things I'm doing now is I'm like, you know, working on different types of shapes because I got where I almost exclusively wanted to use that one shape. And so like, you know, again, this video isn't meant to go in depth on all the different shapes and all that. If you're interested in a video on that where I covered the different shapes and how I sweep pick them, just comment below, let me know. And I can plan on getting that video in the works too. But I personally really like, let's see if I can get it on video so you can see it. So that pinky gets the root note, right? And it just goes, that's really natural for me. And, you know, some of the other ones, like where you would start like here, then there's those types of sweeps as well, which are the ones that I've gotten away for the most part not using them. But now I'm kind of starting to get to where I'm like, all right, I better learn those as well. It's just a different feel. So you got to figure out what feels best for you. And then the next tip, though, after you figured out like a good shape that you're going to learn on and kind of master, right? Master one at a time, is doing isolation exercises. What I mean by this is like work on your left hand maybe first, get the shape down. And then you then kind of switch over to where you focus more on your right hand, your picking hand, that is. So the way to do that is like I would even literally just grab up the neck and just go. I'll get it on video for you. Where you just kind of like try to hammer on the notes and get the feel for the shapes. Now, you may go slower at first, so you might be a little more like... speed it up, right? But once you get the shape down and you got it to where you can just fluently do it with one hand, like with your fretting hand, it takes a lot of the difficulty with sweeping out, because in my opinion, the most difficult part is getting the picking hand to do what you want it to do. So like, the concept of sweep picking is you're kind of just dragging that pick, right? Like it's dragging, going up and down. A lot of people say like, or I should say I've heard people say you want to kind of like angle it. So like if you're seeing this, I got it kind of angled, right? So angle it down. And then I've seen a lot of people talk about angling it up. For me, that doesn't work. Okay, so like literally if I was just practicing like getting started with it, I would even practice this kind of being like dragging the pick, but I don't like that upward slant. It does not work well for me. I just keep the same angle and go up and down. So like literally, like if you're looking at the pick, I keep it slanted up and down and it works just fine for me. There might be sometimes like if I'm improvising and doing some sort of particular sweeps in certain shapes, maybe I angle it up. You just kind of have to do what works best for you. So that's how you start like isolating. Maybe you just kind of make some, maybe turn the volume down, right? And just kind of like feel going up and down smoothly. Like you gotta feel that you're hitting each string and dragging it. And if it works better for you to slant up on the way back, great. But for me, it doesn't. So, but just like work on hitting every string consistently. The next part of that though is when you start getting your shapes down and you're wanting to then do some other isolation exercises like you should be doing, in my opinion. What I recommend is that your shape should already be memorized, like it's muscle memory. So then you're focusing in as you play on your right hand, and I call it loving the strings, because I'm like trying to mentally visualize, like, and it helps even to close your eyes and be like, okay, I'm on this string. That's where I'm at. Okay. And I'm feeling with my right hand to make sure I'm hitting the strings at the right time. So even though my left hand is doing stuff, it's like I don't even think about it. It's just muscle memory because I've done the isolation exercise stuff. So then my right hand is what I can focus on, and it helps. I really do think it helps to like close your eyes if you need to, wear a blindfold, whatever. So that's the value of doing the isolation exercises. I've heard a lot of good stuff about that from other educators. Jack Gardner talks a lot about isolation exercise stuff. His is more in the like realm of like scales up the neck and stuff, like staying on one string and isolating, trying to improvise on just one string. But in this case, I'm talking about like you just focusing on one hand at a time, essentially. So isolation exercises. The next tip I'm going to give you is the type of pick you're using matters. I kind of go back and forth what I like better. I'll try to show you these on the camera here. I've got like these two different picks. One is like a jazz flow. It's a 1.25, so it's pretty thick. It's not crazy thick, but it's pretty thick. You want to be using a thick pick, generally speaking. So like you're not going to use a flimsy, floppy acoustic pick for this type of stuff. You're going to want to use like, a pretty thick pick. So I like that jazz. Again, the jazz flow is what this is. But sometimes, I don't know why, just sometimes I really like this thick John Petrucci pick. I don't know which one specifically this is, but it's thick and red and very rounded. And it just helps to get a lot of that buttery sort of slide stuff. It just feels good, sounds good. But I don't know. Sometimes like It's probably just a mental thing, but sometimes I prefer one over the other. But the moral of the story is use a thicker pick. The next thing is going to be, the next tip is going to be making sure that you really relax. Okay, so like your pick, you should be able to like pull it out of your fingers. If you're gripping it so tight that you cannot easily, I'm saying easily, pull it out of your fingers, you're gripping it too hard. So it needs to be a light hold, okay? And that goes for any type of like alternate picking, economy picking, that type of stuff. You should be relaxed, okay? The other thing, though, you should be relaxing is this hand. So again, this is where you can combine it with the tip on isolation exercises. Is like when you're doing your shapes, really just focus on being as loose and like relaxed as possible. Because I've noticed like if I start sweeping and I'm tense, I end up doing a few things. One thing is going to sound bad, but I tend to pull, like I'll pull the string over the edge, just so if you can see that. Like I do that kind of stuff. Or I end up like if I'm doing a slide up, I'll slide too farther than I mean to. So you just want to work on having basically zero tension, because otherwise it's just not going to end well for you. My last tip for you, unless I think of another one on the fly, sometimes I do that, you never know what you're going to get, is set your guitar up. Get it set up. Either pay someone that can do it to set it up, or set it up yourself, because it can make a massive difference in how easy the action is. And this may sound super rudimentary, but like, I'll just tell you, I probably played guitar for like 15 years or so before I actually took the time to really dial in my guitar to get it set up the way that I want it. And if you're like, what do you mean set it up? What are you talking about? I'm saying like, get the strings as low as possible without it being annoying. And what I mean by that is like, you don't want some crazy fret buzz. Like I have a little bit, like I'm okay with a little bit of fret buzz. So, you know, I'm lowering the saddles to make sure that the strings get low to the fretboard. So that way they're easy to press down. Like if you got your strings way too high, it's going to be annoying. It's going to be hard to press down. You're going to get frustrated. So just get those strings lowered as close as possible without it being annoying. The other thing I look for in terms of like what I'm saying when I'm talking about like really dialing it in. It's not that hard to say. Is like I actually don't like my like high E string to be super low, because what I notice is I tend to make like accidental presses more often. And you could say, well, you just need to be on your tips, the tips of your fingers, which is actually, that's going to be your last tip that I'll get to in a second. So you may want to play, especially if you're setting it up yourself, you may want to play around with not going as absolutely low as you possibly can, because you may find like you actually do a little bit better with it a little bit higher. And there's a sweet spot, because like if you're like real high and you're doing well, it's probably because you have too much tension and you're pushing too hard. Because like that's another thing with sweeping. That's another bonus tip, is you want to make sure that like you're not pressing so hard so that you don't have any endurance, right? Like you want to be able to play for long amounts of time, especially if you're going to be gigging or doing something like that. Like you want to make sure that you are not like really pressing down, which goes back to the tip about relaxation. You should be able to lightly press and it be completely fine. Okay. So, I think I had another bonus one. It left me. So if you guys remember what I said, because I'm recording this in like one take. I hate editing videos. If you guys want me to edit the videos more and think it would be helpful, comment below, let me know. But other than that, just want to let you guys have the reminder. If you want more videos like this, do a few things for me. It takes you like 2 seconds. Be sure to like this video. Be sure also to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and just comment like if you have things that you want me to expound on. Okay, because I'm happy and would prefer to make videos that are relevant to what you guys actually want. So that's all I got for you in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if it works out for you, and I'll see you in the next video.